With spring rains covering the area, Texas wildflowers blooming and helping the bee population. Tonight on the Night Beat, we're going to take a look at what local beekeepers are doing to maintain the sudden spike in pollinators. Comes up at 10. Well, this year, 4.5 million people will need a blood transfusion. Blood banks continue to face dire shortages as supplies have failed to reach their pre-pandemic levels. In fact, a fifth of blood centers nationwide have less than a day's supply of blood.
29% have less than 2 days. Ursula Perry shows us that's why researchers are trying to create synthetic blood.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. In fact, 1 in 7 people who go to the hospital will need blood. Because the demand is so great, researchers are creating a new type of synthetic blood inside a lab.
So the holy grail for transfusion is a dried, artificial whole blood.
Bioengineer Susan Shea is part of the nationwide team that's working to make synthetic blood a reality. It looks like a powder, and it has the same components as human blood.
This product that we're developing will consist of a nanoparticle that is able to perform the function of a red blood cell, so it can deliver oxygen.
The synthetic blood does not have to match the patient's blood type.
The cellular components are artificial, and they therefore will not express those markers that recipients might have an adverse reaction to, as they would if they received a type mismatched blood donation.
And unlike donated blood that has a shelf life of up to 42 days, ideally, the synthetic blood could last months, even years. It does not need to be refrigerated, so it can be used not only in hospitals, but ambulances, rescue helicopters, and war zones, places where it's difficult to have blood readily available.
I don't know that we can guarantee that this product alone will eliminate the blood shortage, but it's certainly a very important step forward.
Just 1 pint of blood will save up to 3 people, but only 37% of the population in the U.S. is eligible to donate blood. And even then, only 10% of us do. So if you're over 110 pounds, over 17 years old, and you're healthy, you're eligible. Ursula Perry, KSAT12 News.
All right, maybe blue skies where you are, but there are some thunderstorms out there right now, Adam.
Yeah, we'll take the rain. Just leave the tornadoes.
Yeah.
Leave the hail and tornadoes out of it, right? Yeah, unfortunately, we can't always do that this time of year, but the threat is west of San Antonio this evening. Let's get right to the satellite and radar and take a look at where the storms have been developing. Off into West Texas, North Texas, Panhandle as well. And then there's one little cluster is starting to head into the KSAT12 viewing area closer to Val Verde County. Not quite there yet, but closer to it. We're watching and monitoring this activity for the potential of any of it to head our way overnight tonight and early morning hours tomorrow. We could even see a similar situation the next couple of nights. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Storms organizing in West Texas, then we have the potential of getting their leftovers in the late night and early morning hours. Now, I don't think odds favor that a whole lot tonight, other than a few showers possibly making it to San Antonio. This red box, that is the tornado watch, meaning conditions are favorable for a potential tornado should a thunderstorm develop from Del Rio to Uvalde, Lakey, Rock Springs, Junction, and Sonora. And that watch is valid through 11 p.m. this evening. Nothing in San Antonio here, but you go off to the west, just north of Val Verde County. And now in northern Val Verde County, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning near Pandale and Juneau. I turned off the lightning so you could see the reflectivity. The yellows indicate the active severe thunderstorm warnings, and the red boxes are where we have tornado warnings for Doppler radar indicated tornadoes. So rotation, that's basically been detected by Doppler radar, but nothing confirmed by people on the ground yet. Here's a 3D view of it. You see the storm structure, the height of these storms, and I want to isolate just the hail for you. There are pockets of large hail within these thunderstorms just north of Pandale, and they're moving to the southeast into northern Val Verde County toward Pandale and Juneau. And this purple and black areas where we have some of the largest hail could have hail up the size of eggs, and even potentially baseball-sized hail in some isolated locations. There is that chance within some of the bigger storms that develop this evening. We have many future casts, and they all give you different answers. I think this one's the most favorable and most likely scenario, where we have these storms 7, 8 o'clock out west, Val Verde County, Edwards County, Kinney County. 9-10 o'clock starting to move eastward and then dissipating toward Uvalde and La Pryor, and then even San Antonio, maybe getting a few showers left over closer to midnight tonight. Of course, we'll be here to monitor it and keep you updated through the severe thunderstorm threat and then even thereafter. We also have Tropical Storm Arlene to talk about. West of Florida right now. Winds of 40 miles per hour. Barely a tropical storm. You got to be 39 miles per hour or greater to be a tropical storm. So very briefly, detected 40 mile per hour winds in a small little portion of that cluster of storms. That has organized a bit, but it's weakening again, and it's going to be a remnant low by tomorrow. Our rated storm chances, 30%, so widely separated at any point this weekend. We're talking night and day we could have them, because we have to watch for the leftovers of West Texas storms during the late night and early morning hours. And then every afternoon, we have to watch for just some random pop-up downpours with a little bit of lightning and thunder. Cross your fingers for your neighborhood. And we're not expecting anything severe, so just cross your fingers for a quick, good downpour at some point this weekend. And even into next week, we have those daily 30% chances. We had a high of 90 today. 87 right now, dew point is 65. Bandera, you're 86 along with Comfort. Stinson Airport measuring 89 along with Pleasanton. 94 in Laredo, 89 in Del Rio. Check out Ozona with that storm at 79 now. We'll be at 70 degrees in the morning, 10% chance of a shower, up to 30% tomorrow afternoon, and even into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Right near 90 for the high temperature on Saturday. By Sunday, a little extra cloud cover, so we'll trim off a few degrees at 87. Keep in mind, the average high is 91. We're going to be below that as we get on into the end of the weekend and especially into next week, anywhere from 85 to 88 for the highs then.
Yeah, temperatures don't look too bad for this time of year.
Yeah, love those temperatures.
Thanks, Adam.
We'll be right back. And now the latest on that partial building collapse in Iowa. The city of Davenport now says it believes 3 people could still be inside.
Officials holding a news conference earlier today, giving an update on that search for the victims. And we get a first look at newly obtained surveillance video of this collapse. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Chilling new surveillance video shows this apartment building in Davenport, Iowa, as it begins to partially collapse. First, you see a piece of the building fall. 2 minutes later, another one drops. Then a large section crumbles. The video stops before the entire collapse can be seen. Officials still believe 3 people may be inside, missing since Sunday when that part of the building came crashing down. They say the rescue operation is now a recovery.
We're tasked with completing the recon of the building to search for survivors and those that may have been presumed to have perished inside the collapse.
A new missing person poster released Thursday. Police now saying Daniel Prian, along with Brandon Colvin and Ryan Hitchcock, had a high probability of being at home at the time of the collapse.
We have families here that are still wanting answers and searching for their loved ones,
including Brandon Colvin's family. His son has been sleeping near the scene.
I tried to drop him off Tuesday to school to do his finals, and he just broke down and ran right back here. So in my mind, it's just like if he needs to sleep here to satisfy his mind and soul, it's like I'll sleep right there with you, baby.
The cause of the collapse still under investigation. The building had a history of complaints and owners had been ordered to make fixes, which officials say were underway. The city's chief building inspector has now resigned after incorrectly giving the repairs a pass mark instead of marking them incomplete. And we've now learned just days before the collapse, a structural engineer report said the building was in imminent risk of crumbling. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And we'll be right back. Around America now, a grandmother and her 2 young grandchildren were inside a house when it exploded in Cincinnati. The woman and 6- and 7-year-old kids are okay. Neighbors say they actually heard 2 explosions. One was so strong it blew the garage door out onto the street. The grandmother and children were trapped inside that house until a neighbor kicked the door in and got them out.
He said the door had cracks in it already from the fire, so he kicked the door out. He grabbed the little girl hand and the lady too, and he just did what he had to do.
Investigators haven't said what caused the explosion, but the woman in the home thinks it was the water heater installed just 40 minutes before this happened. Both houses right next door to this home also caught fire.
North Carolina's Fort Bragg became Fort Liberty today when the U.S. Army renames one of the largest military installations in the world. The change follows a branch-wide push to rename bases that bear the name of Confederate leaders. It's currently named after General Braxton Bragg, who was criticized for his hot temper, combative personality, and often subpar performance on the field. Fort Bragg among 9 bases a congressional commission proposed renaming. Others have been or are expected to be named after notable people. Fort Liberty, the only one named after a value.
The FDA is urging people to think twice before buying and using compounded versions of the drugs Ozempic and Wegovy.
The FDA says these versions of the drug made in specific pharmacies from raw ingredients may not be safe or effective. ABC's Melissa Adon reports from LA.
Amid the popularity of using medications like Ozempic for weight loss, the FDA is cautioning use of compounded forms of those medications that could be unsafe. The FDA's warning says it does not review compounded versions of these drugs for safety, effectiveness, or quality, urging people not to use them if the approved form is available.
Limitations in supply have led people to trying to get this medication in different ways, one of which these compounding pharmacies.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton explains how compounding pharmacies are creating so-called off-brand versions of these drugs, which could involve risks due to unregulated pharmacies and the use of certain active ingredients that have not been tested or studied extensively.
So patients have to know right now that these medications are not the same. You may be exposing yourself to risk, and you may not even get that benefit of weight loss because it may not be the active ingredient.
The demand has been driven by some Americans like Ashley Harkins turning to cheaper versions of semaglutides, the active ingredients in Ozempic, when her insurance refused to cover Ozempic because she does not have diabetes.
4 weeks, and I could not afford that. And then I found this compound pharmacy on TikTok, and it was much cheaper to go this way.
While Ashley says that formulation worked for her, the FDA says it has received some reports of adverse effects after people took compounded semaglutide. Officials didn't specify what the problems were. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Or UAPs from the last 3 decades.
UAP, that's the official term. The rest of us, we know them as UFOs. A team from NASA says it will publish its first report on these in July. Mike Valerio reports.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at him fly.
A team of independent experts assembled by NASA to study unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs, held their first public meeting this week.
The presence of UAPs raises concerns about the safety of our skies.
Among the struggles they're facing when it comes to identifying UFOs, low-quality data.
The current data collection efforts regarding UAPs are unsystematic and fragmented across various agencies.
The Pentagon's Sean Kirkpatrick told the panel his office is looking into more than 800 reports of UAPs received over 3 decades, but says only 2 to 5% of those cases can really be considered unexplained.
While a large number of cases in AARO's holdings remain technically unresolved, this is primarily due to a lack of data.
So, could any of these sightings offer proof there's life beyond the stars?
The answer is no.
Astrophysicist Adam Frank is pretty skeptical.
There's nothing that even comes close to the standards of evidence that we would need.
The University of Rochester professor isn't associated with the NASA team. He thinks the increase in reports of UAPs is related to government transparency and science.
When you look at the history of UFO reports in the government, clearly during the Cold War, the military had an agenda, because we were dealing with the Russians and disinformation was great. And so I think now finally a true, open, scientific investigation of what's happening.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Look outside with live cam this evening. We are watching for storms out to the west of us. Adam.
Yeah, and right now just starting to scrape northern Valverde County, but it's west of San Antonio where we have the risk of severe thunderstorms this evening, especially through 10 or 11 p.m. So later on, a few hours after sunset. As for San Antonio, 87 right now. By 9 o'clock, 82 degrees. Notice midnight, 76 and that 20% chance. Some of the remnants of those storms off to the west could make it here, giving us a few showers and maybe brief rumbles of thunder. We're going to talk more about storm chances into the weekend coming right up.
All right, there's some rains out there that are just about to get into the KSAT12 viewing area.
Yeah, and to give you an idea, that starts off to our west in Valverde County. So we're talking Comstock area, Del Rio, and all of Valverde County. But the storm threat is west of town this evening, west of San Antonio. But we still have, going forward this weekend, daily opportunities for some localized downpours, widely separated. And through the weekend, it could really be at any time, morning, night, or afternoon. No summer-like heat yet. I mean, we're talking high temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 80s in the 7-day forecast. And to put it in perspective, the average high now is 91. Today we hit 90 degrees. Tomorrow, probably 90. Then we'll shave off a few degrees thereafter. Here's the big picture. Those yellow and red boxes, those are the severe thunderstorm and tornado watch boxes just outside of San Antonio and outside of most of our area. Thunderstorm complex really coming together from Amarillo to Lubbock, now east of Lubbock, pushing eastward. That's mostly going to pass just north of San Angelo. But we've been watching this little cluster of activity that developed a few hours ago and is now just scraping northern Valverde County. And this is a closer look at it here. You see a lot of colors, and I'm just going to get rid of all the lightning and all the warnings just so we can look at the reflectivities here. And notice how it's just barely scraping northern Valverde County. It's moving to the east, southeast at about 25 miles per hour. So those of you in Rock Springs and even Lakey, Concan, Uvalde, Brackettville, you need to be on the lookout for some of these thunderstorms as we go through the evening and into the early nighttime hours. For a few hours after sunset, you could still be affected by either this storm or a new developing storm, and however this modifies as it drops to the southeast. Yellow boxes, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings. The red boxes are the tornado warnings. 2 locations here with rotation detected by the Doppler radar indicating the chance of a tornado at any moment. Luckily, it's a pretty rural part of our area, but nonetheless important to keep an eye on this. And these purple plumes that you see, this is the 3D view where I just isolate where we most likely have hail falling from these storms, and that's mostly north of Juneau. That's probably the biggest hail core, probably 1.5-inch diameter hail, maybe even a little bit more. So that would be about ping pong, maybe golf ball size hail with that. So from Uvalde to Junction, Rock Springs, Del Rio, Ozona, that's where we have the tornado watch in effect until 11 p.m. Here's what I think is the most likely scenario. We'll see that storm system drop southeastward, paralleling the Rio Grande, affecting some communities anywhere from Del Rio to Rock Springs, Lakey, Concan, and even Uvalde, Brackettville included. Then by 10 o'clock, it's starting to weaken and fall apart as it heads eastward. In San Antonio, there's that teeny chance that this could actually hold together, but it's highly unlikely. It's really the off chance. Most likely, this is going to fizzle out and dissipate as it heads toward us. And we could end up with just a few showers, a few leftover showers from that thunderstorm complex, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. We also have to talk about Tropical Storm Arlene. Barely made it to tropical storm status. Got to give it a name, though. Of course, winds 40 miles per hour in a little spot on the northern end of this of the circulation. This will be weakening and heading southward. So that's nothing to worry about, nothing for anybody to worry about. Even where it's headed toward Cuba, nothing to worry about. It is throwing a lot of rain into Florida. If it was named or not, it would be doing that as well. Rain chances around here, 30% daily and nightly through the weekend and then even into next week. Some widely separated pop-up showers and storms possible. And then during the night and early morning hours, we're really just looking for the leftovers or remnants of West Texas organized thunderstorm activity. Quick look at our almanac. 90 our high today, the record 101. That was set back in 2018. Right now we're at 87. Dew point is 64. That southeasterly wind at 15 really reinforcing our mugginess. And we'll start the day tomorrow at 70. There's a 10% chance tomorrow morning through the noon hour, and then 30% into the afternoon and evening. Same story goes for Sunday. But Sunday will drop down to 87, and next week, mostly mid to upper 80s. Even by Monday, 85 the high. So running a little below average.
Yeah, not a bad thing. Thanks, Adam. One of the newest members of the team at the Michigan 911 Center has quickly become one of the most valuable. Jessie is a station therapy dog, a rising trend in 911 centers across the nation. She's specially trained to work in a public safety setting to offer the kind of support that dispatchers may not even realize they need.
Yeah, Jessie also trained to put her needs behind the business at hand. That means no barking, no running, no on-demand bathroom breaks. Jessie's trainers say she has a disposition of love, a gift that took her from a shelter to the hearts of 911 operators who rely on her during emergencies every day. I like that idea.
That is a really neat idea. Thanks for watching.